From the library of the New York Stock Exchange at the corner of Wall and Broad Streets in New York City, you're inside the Ice House, our podcast from Intercontinental Exchange on markets, leadership, and vision in global business. The dream drivers that have made the NYSE an indispensable institution of global growth for over 225 years. Each week, we feature stories of those who hatch plans, create jobs, and harness the engine of capitalism. Right here, right now at the NYSE and at ICE's 12 exchanges and 6 clearinghouses around the world. And now welcome inside the Ice House. Here's your host, Josh King of Intercontinental Exchange.
Remember back in episode 46 of Inside the Ice House when we had the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral John Richardson, in to talk about building and staffing the U.S. Navy to deal with the threats in the 21st century and beyond? Well, that was a big thrill for me, not just because John is an old friend, but also because I'm a lifelong Navy geek. How did that happen, you might ask? A lot of it had to do with Hollywood. John Wayne in In Harm's Way, Cliff Robertson in PT 109, Kirk Douglas in The Final Countdown, Wolfgang Petersen's Das Boot, Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman in Tony Scott's Crimson Tide. I even dug Peter Berg's Battleship, and I could go on and on. But why am I telling you this? Navy movies, particularly submarine movies, have a certain style to them. So while I was watching TV not too long ago, a commercial caught my eye. It spoke to me like few others do. It featured a submarine, the USS Pancake, on a collision course for a downtown IHOP where breakfasts were ready and waiting for the crew. Let's take a listen.
Captain.
What?
There's something big ahead. There's eggs, bacon, pancakes, French toast. It's some sort of breakfast.
That's no breakfast. That's a breakfast from IHOP.
What's our course, Captain?
Head straight for it. Captain's got an empty tum-tum. Ding dong.
Breakfeasts. Order online and save $5.
How does a CEO make the call to direct his or her marketing chief and advertising agency to create and air such a masterpiece? Inside the Ice House today, fresh from holding his quarterly earnings call right here at the New York Stock Exchange, is Steve Joyce, CEO of Dine Brands Global, that's NYSE DIN, one of the largest full-service dining companies in the world, and franchisor of Applebees and IHOP. Earlier in the day, Steve and his executive team took their seats right here in the library to host their quarter one earnings call, and I can only imagine they powered through a sea of questions from analysts with bottomless coffee and plates of pancakes. I'm eager to pick Steve's brain on the current state of casual dining, how consumer insights are driving business development, and his plans to expand Dine Brands' global footprint. That's right after this.
Now a word from Jennifer Tejada, CEO of PagerDuty, NYSE ticker symbol PD.
PagerDuty is a digital operations management platform leveraged by developers, customer support, IT, and security to help ensure that the brand experience for their end consumers runs perfectly all the time. Our organization reflects the diversity and the richness of our community. We're really excited about global impact. We chose the NYSE because it's a place where iconic companies are truly born in the company of giants.
Sitting across from me today is the man responsible for overseeing the Applebees and IHOPs that millions of consumers have come to love. Steve Joyce is nothing short of a franchise powerhouse. After graduating from the University of Virginia with a degree in commerce, Steve didn't have to travel far to start his career in business. His first job was with Marriott International, headquartered right outside of Washington, D.C. in Bethesda, in corporate internal audit and operations, helping to, you guessed it, develop Marriott's franchise growth. Over the next 25 years, Steve worked through the ranks, becoming EVP of Global Development, Owner and Franchise Services. And from there, Steve joined Choice Hotels International, that's NYSE CHH, serving as president and CEO, helping to grow that franchise over 6,700 hotels in more than 45 countries. In 2017, Steve took on his next challenge, a switch from hospitality to the restaurant industry, becoming CEO of Dine Brands. Steve, welcome inside the Ice House.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
This morning, Dine Brands hosted its Q1 earnings call right here at the NYSE. Did you have any comfort food on hand while you helped calm the nerves?
We did not, which was disappointing, which I need to talk to my PR folks about, because while the catering was done in a very admirable fashion, it was not exactly what we were used to at IHOP or Applebees. So, but we do like bringing it because people like seeing it, and we have a lot of fun with it. So that was a great ad. But you know, the thing about, I don't do a lot on the creative side. I do say yes, but what we try to do is we try to, for both brands, try to bring the spirit of what the brands are about to work in the ads. And so the thing about IHOP is, one is everybody loves it. Two is our guests, they really don't want us to take ourselves too seriously. So this idea of kind of a little edgy humor where we're going to run a submarine into a restaurant, or before that we ran an airliner into a restaurant. There's a lot of different ways for us to show that to the guests, but they appreciate the fact that they think we're edgy, they think we're innovative, they think for a brand that's been around for a really long time that we're a new brand on the come. And that's what's really exciting. And it's hard to do in the restaurant business, but we've got great folks working with us. We've got great folks on the creative side. But it's an attitude about, let's make sure that we're giving the guests what they want from us, which is a incredible dining experience with memorable food and things that are comforting to them, right, in both brands. But at the same time, putting in a personality to it that people like. And so when we ask people about our brand, what they say is, you know, that's a new innovative brand. They don't talk about it in venerable terms. They talk about it in new exciting terms because we do things. Like when we did the IHOB program last year and potentially said maybe we'll change the name to International House of Burgers, people went nuts. We got 44 billion impressions. During the North Korean summit, we were 1, 2, and 4 on Twitter. The Korean summit was 3. So clearly we attracted some attention, but it's that kind of thing that people have fun with, or people felt very passionate about it. So, but we want to do that so that we're part of the conversation. We have a very young audience in both brands. Half of our customers are under the age of 34. So they're very social media adapt. We dominate social media. There's a lot of discussion whether or not it's about Dollaritas at Applebee's or whether it's about the burger promotion, or there's some new things that we're going to introduce. When we did the Grinch for the end of the holidays last year, that was huge in the restaurants, but the tie-in and the food was really great. The green Grinch pancakes were amazing, and, you know, and we had crumpets and roast beef omelets, but people just like it because it's entertainment. The food is abundant and incredibly tasteful, and at the same time, we have some fun with it.
I mean, did your creative team, when you had to at least say yes, I mean, did you connect it all with sort of the genre of these sailors in the middle of the submarine that are somehow going to drive up into this parking lot?
They don't let me anywhere near this stuff. That's the thing, is all the fun things that happen around the advertising and the marketing get done away from the office, and they don't even invite me to come. So I do get to review and approve what we're going to do, but we have an incredibly creative team, an incredibly creative agency working with us. And so they come up with some really wild ideas. And most of them, I look at it and go, this is really going to work. But then what we do a lot of is consumer insight and a lot of data analytics. And so we know what resonates with our customers and our guests in a way that we haven't before. And that allows us to make better choices about how we present ourselves to our guests and to the public.
For all your franchise owners, is there a way to help them sort of see the vision or the design of these campaigns and get any of their feedback and consensus?
Oh, yeah. So all of the things that we do include committees of franchisees that have input to where we're going. Now, we don't do creative that way because you don't do creative as a committee, right? You do it. But what you do is present ideas, and then you get feedback from them. And they know a lot because they're the ones running the restaurants. They're the ones with the guests giving them feedback, hearing about how the guests liked or didn't like an ad or something that drove them to the restaurant, or, you know, the way it was positioned. And so their input's very valuable. We have a great combination of feedback from the franchisees, feedback from our guests, and then some very creative folks, both on the agency side and in-house. That really makes for a great combination. And you can tell we're doing a lot better than the rest of the folks. If you looked at our results
I want to, dive into your results that you announced today here at the New York Stock Exchange. As the captain of the USS Pancake might say, let's dive into earnings. You said, and I want to quote you from the call, Dine Brands delivered another impressive quarter. Our performance and momentum reflect the continued improvement in our core business. We delivered double-digit growth in several key metrics. Implementation of multi-pronged strategies at Applebees and IHOP have produced positive results. Both brands reported positive comparable sales for the first quarter, lapping over positive sales results for the first quarter of 2018. So, Steve, can you take us through some of those multi-pronged strategies you mentioned in the key metrics?
Yeah, so there are a number of things that we're doing, and people always say, well, what happens if this program doesn't work as well? I go, well, it's not one program. There's 9 things that we're doing, or 10 things that we're doing that we think are driving these results. So first of all, it starts with the restaurant and our guests. And our restaurants have never been better run, have never better executed against what the customers want, what our guests want. The food has never been better, never been more abundant, never been more flavorful. We're doing some fun things in the bar on Applebee's. We're doing some fun things with milkshakes at IHOP now. And so there's a number of things that go on.
Big milkshake fan. What are you doing?
You need to go try these. These are real milkshakes. And so we're going to combine them with a burger program that's going to be really popular. So similar to what we did, but some new flavors this year. But the milkshake I've had it. It's actually really great. So there's a lot of excitement about that. You know, on the Applebee's side, we're back to doing Dollarita again, which is a huge hit, and everybody just loves to go in and see that.
Explain the Dollarita. It's a $1 margarita.
It's a margarita for $1. And so when we first did it, it went viral, and Jimmy Fallon drank one. But he did another one for the strawberry margarita, I think, which was in March, I believe. And so it's fun when you get that kind of attention, and it drives because people like coming in. So what we know, which is interesting about first of all, it brings in a younger crowd. So it's a 20-something crowd, obviously. But the interesting thing is that people think, oh, they're coming in and buying $1 margaritas and then they're leaving. They all buy food. And not only do they buy food, they buy more food than our average customer. And so it's not people coming in and slamming down several of these margaritas because you can't drink that many of them. And you certainly can't drink them without eating. And so it's a great combination of bringing something fun in, something colorful. One of the big ones from last year that was popular was we had the zombie for October. And there was even a little video that went with it. But it was a very colorful drink with a floating brain in it. And the biggest question was, can I get 2 floating brains? So we have, so the idea is make it fun, make it interesting, make it colorful. And that leads to a lot of interest in people coming into the restaurant and experiencing it.
You also said on the call, Steve, we're taking a long-term approach to managing the business and focusing on platforms that will deliver sustainable, positive results. This includes expanding our off-premise business at both brands and investing in guest-facing technology, where we have made foundational changes to further enhance the guest experience. Steve, you've got to have a smile on your face with news like this. Tell me, what do you mean by expanding our off-premise business and investing in guest-facing technology? The order online and save $5 come on for the captain and crew of the USS Pancake seem to be quite an incentive to beach the vessel in that parking lot.
Yeah, so we're doing a number of things, but a lot of it is enabled by technology. And if you look around at the business, that has not been a focal point for the industry. It is for us, because what we want to do is 2 things. We want to remove friction points for our guests. So we want to make the guests happier and their experience easier, and they things like, the great thing about people love IHOP, they're willing to wait 45 minutes in line to go into IHOP. Well, we love that passion, but we also think people really don't want to wait 45 minutes. So
45 minutes of their life.
So we have a no wait program where you can actually sign up and get a time, and so you can come to the restaurant at that time and you'll be seated. So we think those kind of innovations are really going to help the guests even have a better experience. The online ordering is a great program where not only is it efficient and quick for you to order, you also can notify us when you're pulling into the parking lot and we'll bring your food out to you. So there's the great thing about all of those friction reducing opportunities on the technology side. Pay at your table, right? So on your own device. Server tablets, where the server never leaves the floor and everything comes back and forth very efficiently from the kitchen. So all of those things do two things. One is they make the guest experience better. It's quicker, it's at their pace, the food is when they want it, how they want it. And then at the same time, we get to know our guests better. So we have their information. It allows us to have a conversation with them about, hey, we noticed you like this, and so why don't you come back to the restaurant and we'll give you a discount on riblets because you like riblets, or So it gives us a lot of ways to communicate with our customers. The guests love talking about our brands.
We can almost always count on seeing IHOP make the trading floor rounds in March to celebrate National Pancake Day, but you've also started capitalizing on other holidays, for example, National Pizza Day. Let's listen to what you had in store with this clip.
This National Pizza Day, if you're planning on having a pizza, forget about it. Try a pankizza instead. What's a pankizza? I'll tell you.
Hold the sauce, hold the cheese, give me buttermilk, please. It's pankizza. It's a circle in a box, and it's fresh from IHOP. It's pankizza. Order one, maybe four. They'll come right to your door. It's pankizza. It's the first of its kind. It'll blow your mouth's mind. It's pankizza.
Now, for listeners trying to imagine what that spot shows, it is a pancake, or should I say a pankizza, large enough for the entire family to enjoy. Steve, is this simply a stunt, or should we expect to see this as a new menu item?
I don't think we're going to have it as a menu item, but it was a lot of fun. So it's actually pankizza, and we took over a pizza place in New York, and there were lines out the door. We did it everything we do is for a purpose, right? So that was to highlight delivery. So we had a program for free delivery with DoorDash. And we created 30 million impressions with that program. I think we got more attention than the pizza places did. And there were three types of pizza. One had icing on it, one that was a kind of regular pancake, and then one did have some more traditional pizza things on it. But they came in both personal pan size and 15-inch in boxes, like you'd expect your pizza to come in. And people just had a lot of fun with it. But it's the thing that I think that's why people think we're interesting, because we looked around and we were like, National Pizza Day, nobody talks about that. Well, what if we took it over? That'd be fun. And so we did. And I think we got more interest than anybody did with actual pizza. And our guests think it's fun. We sold a lot of those pankizzas through delivery. And now our customers and our guests know that, okay, not only can I get IHOP, I can also get it delivered, and it reinforced with them that we're a delivery option that they can utilize. And in our delivery, actually the things that we actually use, we didn't do it like other people did. We did literally a technology development delivery option that keeps our food hot for 45 minutes. So, and when you get your pancakes from an IHOP, it's not all jammed in a styrofoam container. It's your egg and your meat product below separated with a vented container with your pancake on top, so that when it comes in, it tastes just like it did in the restaurant.
Steve, IHOP has found success in social media and virality, as we've been talking about throughout our conversation. I want to focus on one of them, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier. Last June, IHOP unveiled its biggest campaign yet, flipping the P in IHOP to a B and briefly renaming the chain IHOB, International House of Burgers. Here's what Squawk Box crew had to say about it on CNBC.
IHOP has a new name, you've probably heard about it, at least for the time being. The International House of Pancakes will now be known as IHOB. The B is not for blockchain or bacon. I thought it was for breakfast, International House of Breakfast. It's not, it's for burgers. And the breakfast brand is betting on breakfast and dinner with a new line up of steak burgers.
And we've got them right here.
We do, and need to be tried, at least a bite.
Just a bite in the morning, Steve. You ultimately return to the legacy name IHOP, but not without claiming, as we talked about, 44 billion earned impressions, quadrupled burger sales across the chain, and 1.8 million mentions of IHOB on Twitter. Those numbers must make marketer's dream. Dreams come true. But has the buzz been long-lasting, or was that, again, sort of a short-term thing?
No,
that worked really well?
There's some really great things about that. So first of all, when you do something like this, you're taking some risks. So the funny thing that happened was within, several days, 2 professors from Harvard and from Wharton said only an idiot would mess with an iconic brand like IHOP. The same professors 12 days later wrote, these guys have reinvented social media for the next decade. I don't think either one was quite true.
Yeah.
So, but we had a lot of fun with it, and we got a lot of people's attention. And so, but what happened was we quadrupled burger sales, and now there's still we're still selling twice as many as we were. And so things worked out really well from a lot of perspectives. One is because of that attention, the relative awareness of the IHOP brand moved up. So therefore, when we advertise, our recognition is instantly better. And so the effect of our advertising is better. The effect of what people hear about IHOP is better because not only did they pay attention to what we did, people got very passionate about it one way or the other. Some people thought it was great. Some people got really angry. But in the end, I think everybody enjoyed it. But it reawakened people's awareness of IHOP by itself. So the company and the brand is better known, and therefore it's more effective. And then on top of that, we let people know that we're not just breakfast, that we're a great place for lunch and dinner. And our lunch and dinner sales went up significantly and have stayed up. So you're going to see us doing similar type programs where we're never going to move away from breakfast. But at the same time, we want to have great food for folks. A lot of people eat breakfast for dinner. So I got a lot of friends that they're like, I want breakfast, dinner, that's where I go. But the fact that you can get a great burger, and they are great burgers, and the fact that we're going to introduce some other items this year later on that are pretty interesting.
You can't give a little preview here inside the Ice House?
My guys would kill me if I did that. It'll be something you don't quite expect, and it'll be an incredible product. So the food is amazing, and the taste of it, I've had it, is really, really good, and it's going to be fun, and people are going to have fun with it. So it's interesting when you get that kind of a social phenomenon, but it just goes to show you how much people love that brand. We actually changed a restaurant on Sunset out in LA. We actually changed a restaurant to IHOB, and it became a tourist destination. So the franchisee, we called him up, a week later, and he said, so we'll send the folks over and change everything back. He goes, yeah, can I keep it for a while? We're like, sure, you can keep it.
How long did it stay up?
Like a couple of months. He goes, I'm full all the time.
Traffic on Sunset is already bad enough. You just made it worse.
And his parking lot was full. He was full all the time. So, again, we don't take ourselves very seriously. No one expected the kind of reaction we got, but it was pretty fun while it lasted. And people, I personally, my favorite was International House of Beyonce, but that didn't get a lot of votes. So,
and I don't know if Beyonce came in any of the stores, but there's still time.
We did get a lot of celebrities tweeting and talking about it. We've got this great sizzle reel that we show, but it just goes to show once you get the country's attention like that, it's just amazing what happens.
I mean, we've focused a lot in our conversation so far about what the country has paid attention to, the external things that have reflected on your brand, what people buzz about. But let's turn inward a little bit, focus on the culture of the company. Dine Brands adheres to 3 strategic pillars: people, brands, and growth. Walk me through the role each of these pillars play and how they're interconnected within the business.
Well, there's a reason that people come first, because we're a people business. We don't have real assets. What we have are brands, and our brands are represented by our people, okay? And so when the company was created, it put 2 separate cultures together, the Applebee's culture and the IHOP culture. And there wasn't a lot of work done to blend those 2. And you want individual personalities to the brands, because the brands have very different personalities. But you want the values to be the same. And you want people to feel good about where they work. And they got to be part of, I've never been in a company where people don't want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And when they're part of something bigger than themselves, it's putting the extra effort in is worthwhile. And there's got to be something in it for them. And so what we try to do is pick the right folks that have the right kind of energy, that want to work collaboratively, that want to be inclusive, that want to do their best, to have a sense of pride in what they do, to reach out and be incredibly inclusive in all things that that give respect and dignity to everybody that they come in contact with. Those are values that we will not move away from. And they don't need to be written. Well, we have them written on the walls, but they don't need to be. We talk about them all the time, and we recognize people for exhibiting them, and we talk to folks that aren't exhibiting them. And if you can't exhibit those values long term, you're not going to last at our company. So, and what we're trying to do is make it a place where people want to work. So then the brands. Brands are incredibly important, right? We have two of they're the biggest brands in their category, and they've been the number one brands 11 consecutive years. You don't do that by not focusing on individual brands and what is special to them about their guests, about the abundance of the food and the deliciousness and the robust flavors. And everybody talks about, well, you serve comfort food, and that's, people are eating better. And I go, well, let me tell you what I know. 60% of Americans say when they're stressed, they say, I want a comfort food. 90% of Americans say they've never been more stressed than today. There's a new article out about how stressed people feel. We actually see in our research that customers feel that we're an oasis because we welcome them who they are, we're inclusive, and we make them feel good, and we serve them great food. Now, you can eat clean in both, and we're also going to provide some vegetarian-friendly type products that we're bringing into bear, so we have something for everybody. But people love the atmosphere. They love the fact that we are a welcoming, hospitable environment, and we take you as you are. And so on the brand side, we're going to continue to, in Applebee's, it's eating good in the neighborhood. And IHOP, it's, putting smiles on people's faces. So, and that'll carry through. If we do more brands, we'll carry that through to that as well. But the
news here, are there new brands on the horizon?
We're looking. So we don't have anything to announce, but we're looking. So on those pillars, they're about not just principles. They're about how we do our business. And so the more that we live those values, the more that we do, the more successful we're going to be. And we've seen it already. The company was in a tough spot September 17 when I came in, but the company was ready, had already been doing a lot of work, but they were ready to change. They wanted to change. They wanted to be proud of what they were doing. And as a result, we got some quick wins, which was great. Franchisees are now back with a great relationship with us. It's a much more fun place. We changed the nature of the offices because the offices were dark and not very welcoming. So all the things that we do are about creating an environment where people can excel.
I want to go back to 2017 a little bit. A number of years ago, well before 2017, two friends of mine, Doug Sosnick and Ron Fournier, wrote Applebee's America, how successful political, business, and religious leaders connect with the new American community. They talked about Applebee's as a community meeting place. And yet, as I was getting ready for our conversation, I went back and looked at 2017. The website Eater came out with a series of pieces about the cultural and economic decline of suburban sit-down chains. Bring us what it was like to walk in the door 2 years ago and what you had to do to change things.
Here's the funny thing about all that. And there are chains out there that are struggling, okay? We're not, but there are chains out there that are struggling. But what became the phenomenon, and there were hundreds of articles written about the death of casual and family dining, okay? And the primary reason was millennials don't like it. Well, we took a look at our consumer research and we took a look at our demographics, and half of our customers are under the age of 34. So last time I looked, those are millennials, and they love our restaurants. They love the brands. They came there with their parents. They're taking their kids there. Eventually they'll take their grandparents there or their grandkids there. So look, there's a certain segment of the population that might not like family and casual dining. We are middle America. We represent the 99%. Guess what? The 99%, they like casual and family dining. Now, they want it to be distinct. So eating good in the neighborhood isn't about, it's not a slogan. We have hometown heroes on our walls. Mm-hmm. We have the high school coach's picture. We represent the town. We do a lot of neighborhood activities. We're involved with lots of different charities. We take care of veterans in Applebee's.
On the veterans, it's no secret that chains like Applebee's are often located close to America's military bases and installations. Members of our armed forces are often deployed for months at a time, reunited with their families for precious little time, and a meal is often a place to reconnect. On Veterans Day, Steve, you open your doors to them, serving 1 million meals to them for free. It does good, of course, but it really establishes this lifetime connection.
Yeah, and I think that's important, though, because that's what neighbors would do. They welcome back their heroes, right? And so what we're trying to do is recognize their service, say thank you, but also at the same time say we're part of the community. We want to celebrate you. Both brands do that in their own way. We are incredibly supportive of so many charities and do. IHOP does a pancake competition for Children's Miracle Network where we raise a lot of money for them. But we also take one of the kids that's been sick and we have a pancake contest and they create their pancake. They win. We put it on our menus. That's something that, that kid's never going to forget, right?
Yeah. Or
their parents or anybody else that comes in contact with them. We do something called Alex's Lemonade Stand, which raises a lot of money to fight childhood cancer on the Applebees side. There's just a lot of things. We're involved with the Boys and Girls Club. There's a lot of things that we do, and we do it for two reasons. One is we do it because we want to be good members of the community, and we want to be responsible. But the first or second question that people ask when they come to work at our company, what do you do to give back? So it's clear it's important to our folks that we be part of that. And I think that makes us a company where people want to work.
I want to pick up on something you mentioned earlier about the expanding menu and tailoring your menus to people that have different dietetic tastes these days as diets do change. Parents like my wife and I are always concerned about the health of our kids. They love pancakes and waffles, whether we make them at home or get them at diners or places like IHOP. But add more to what you said earlier about your vegetarian offerings. What are you and your franchise owners doing these days to address parents' concerns about good nutrition?
Yeah, so we've got a number of items on the menus already, which are healthier options, and we mark those on the menus about calories and about whatever your sensitivity is. We want to make sure that we can provide a meal for you that's satisfying, that feels abundant, and that tastes great. And so we're doing that, but we're also doing things that we hadn't done before. We're going to do a vegetarian-friendly pancake, okay? So for those that want to eat a little differently, we have some restrictions in terms of equipment, so we can't say we're vegan, but we're going to have non-meat burgers, and they're amazing. So we've got non-meat quesadillas, okay? So made with some different ingredients, but the spices are unbelievable. And the taste is amazing. And what we do is somebody says, well, I'd never eat that. We substitute what they think is a regular one. And I like it. That was really good. You know what that was? That was not meat. So what our chefs are able to do with different ingredients and to satisfy a large group. Because what we want to do, we want to make sure that if you're coming with a group of folks, that you don't say to them, I don't want to go there because they don't have anything for me to eat. And we are working really hard to make sure we get there. And plus, we want to make sure if people want to eat healthy, we're going to help them do that. On the other hand, if you want to indulge, we've got indulgence for you.
I make an almost weekly drive to upstate New York to the Catskills, Steve. You have locations in Albany, Clifton Park, Poughkeepsie, Newburgh, among others, near my route. That's a lot of employees that are needed to staff these establishments in a part of the country where the population of the people, often young, waiters, line cooks, bus people, dishwashers, is declining. What are the factors involved in attracting and keeping enough people to staff your locations?
Well, that's a great point because particularly with the tight labor market, it's getting more and more difficult. But we choose our franchisees based on our principles. So we choose franchisees that take good care of their people. So their turnover generally is lower than averages. And so they have longer term employees. When we go to our franchisees' annual celebrations where they celebrate and recognize their team members, there's a lot of long-term team members. And the reason being is the folks that work with them, our franchisees, treat them the right way. And they want them to stay. And they pay them competitively. And they treat them with respect and dignity, and they've got upside opportunity. Everybody looks at the restaurant business and says, well, you got a lot of hourly wage jobs. Yeah, and then you get promoted, and then you get promoted again, then you get promoted. I don't know a CEO that didn't start out in an hourly job. I started out as a dishwasher, okay? So I wasn't a very good dishwasher, so good I moved up. But the net of this is the restaurant business is one of the best up through the ranks opportunities there are, right? If you're great at your job and you want to move up, you're going to have that opportunity. And so certainly there are a lot of entry-level positions, which makes immigration important for us, right? So, but that's a great way to start employment. And then the great thing about our business is all of our franchisees train people to move up to the next step. And we have a huge university online that we help to utilize that as well. So if you want to move from dishwasher to cook, we're going to help you train to do that. And then your income's going to go up. And then if you want to move from cook to assistant manager, we're going to help you do that. And there are thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of stories like that in the restaurant business that, you don't hear about. What I've seen in this business is it's ripe for opportunity for those that want to advance.
Where are we going from here, Steve, as we wrap up our conversation? How does the future look for the franchise model? Does it have staying power worldwide? You travel all over the world looking for how much people might be interested in having Applebee's and IHOP in their countries. Are consumers favoring a variety of smaller family-run businesses? If you had to look into your crystal ball, where is this industry headed?
Well, that's the last pillar, and that's growth. And growth comes from lots of different places. So let's talk internationally. We just signed a 19-unit deal in Pakistan, okay? Did I think we were going to be in Pakistan a year ago? No, but we went and looked. We found a great franchisee. They run great restaurants there already. We think it's going to be a terrific opportunity. We'll have, probably 19 or 20 restaurants within a couple of years. We're just opening our first ones in Ecuador. We signed a bunch of deals for multi-unit programs in Latin America and South America last year. We've got new deals in Canada. We're trying to get into the UK. We're looking at deals in Korea. We're looking all over the world. So I'm actually only 32 years old. It's just 700,000 miles a year on planes that make me look like this. But look, I've done international business development my entire career. First in the hotel business, now here. IHOP and Applebees are loved brands globally, and in some interesting places. We're really big in Applebee's in the Middle East. Go figure. So we were just over there, and what's incredible about, particularly in Saudi, what's incredible about the Applebee's there is they have bars. They're smaller bars, albeit, but they do fresh juice mocktails and different kind of things, and it can be 35% of the restaurant sales.
Wow.
In the U.S., our bar is like 14, 15%. So without alcohol, which I don't think we're going to eliminate alcohol, but without alcohol, those juice bars can be a third of the sales of a restaurant. So, and they treat them like that. They have special glassware, and they look great, so it's an interesting. But then it's a combination of, you do relatively the standard menu, but you customize it for the culture. And so you're very careful about ingredients that people won't eat, so you change those out. But also you bring in local flavors. And so that's the really fun thing about the international piece is, we'll do different things to bring, whether it's in Mexico or whether it's in Ecuador or whether it's in Canada or whether it's in the Middle East, we'll bring those local flavors onto the menu in a bunch of different ways so that people have things that they're familiar with, but then they also have the Applebee's or IHOP experience. And it's really fun. So international, additional brands. When I started at Choice Hotels, we had 9 brands. When I left, we had 13. And I bought 2 tech companies. So I believe in adding growth through inorganic means. You got to be really careful. You want to pick the right ones, and you want to make sure you make money with them. But we think that's an opportunity for us. And then IHOP and Applebee's, just the footprint in the U.S., they have lots of room to grow, and we can grow in non-traditional ways. We're going to put fast casual IHOPs in urban centers. We think that's a really fun thing that people are going to love because they're going to be basically grab and go IHOP, right? So it'll be a little different looking, but the menu will be very similar, and I think people will be excited to see it, and people want it, right? Your options, if you're thinking breakfast and you want to pick up something, what comes to mind first? IHOP, right? So people want IHOP for breakfast. They want it. They want breakfast all day, which we also provide, and then we're going to introduce, in addition to the great burgers we have. By the way, the brunch burger is the best, but we're going to do some new things with the milkshakes, and then we're going to introduce some new things along the burger of like last year. We'll have some fun with, and we'll do another family movie tie-in. That'll be great.
Well, speaking for myself, I can't wait to try the milkshake, and for your next 750,000 miles, just so you get a little less wear and tear, may I suggest that you take the USS Pancake out for a spin, and on your next overseas trip, go underwater on one of your own vessels. What a great show. Yeah. Steve, congratulations for everything you've done so far. Good luck in the coming quarters and everything you're going to do at Dine Brands.
Thanks so much.
That's our conversation for this week. Our guest was Steve Joyce, CEO of Dine Brands. If you like what you heard, please rate us on iTunes so other folks know where to find us. If you've got a comment or a question you'd like one of our experts to tackle on a future show, email us at icehouse@theice.com or tweet at us at IceHousePodcast. Our show is produced by Pete Ash and Teresa DeLuca, with production assistance from Ken Abel and Ian Wolfe. I'm Josh King, your host, signing off from the Library of the New York Stock Exchange. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.
Information contained in this podcast was obtained in part from publicly available sources and not independently verified. Neither ICE nor its affiliates make any representations or warranties, express or implied, as to the accuracy or completeness of the information and do not sponsor, approve, or endorse any of the content herein, all of which is presented solely for informational and educational purposes. Nothing herein constitutes an offer to sell, a solicitation of an offer to buy any security, or a recommendation of any security or trading practice. Some portions of the preceding conversation may have been edited for the purpose of length or clarity.